Good morning, everybody. It's almost 10 a.m., April 25th. It's Thursday, April 25. That's kind of a... I'm 10 minutes 12. 6 days to go, and April turns into May. Oh my God. That's kind of a... May, June, July, August. Woo. Well, last night was full moon night, and you can look over here. Let's do a little switcherooski here. Producers, switch the views. There we go. There we go. You can see it in living color, sort of. Look at that moon hanging over our apartments. That's kind of amazing, isn't it? That's the moon. I can do an expando. This is taken with an iPhone. Now, is that like crazy, unbelievable? An iPhone. There it is. iPhone picture of a moon. Little fuzzy there, but excuse me, I had to take care of a little nasal issue here. I didn't want you to hear me blowing my nose in living color. Well, the stock market opened 4 minutes ago. It's down 652 points already, 1.7%. For all you investors that are hanging out there. Well, I'm sipping on a little coffee. I've been drinking hot tea for months and months and months and months. And I had a cup of coffee on Saturday, and I said, my lordy, that tastes pretty good. Let me, what's going on here? Oh, okay. This is a miracle. There we go. Here is my K-cup of coffee. What does it say? Cafe Bustelo. It is unbelievable. The funny thing about this little K-cup is that this is the one thing that comes, and it has like it's like pressurized. Yep. Goes in a little K-cup. This has not been used. That's a fresh one. There we go. Focus on it, baby. Got this autofocus lens. There we go. Cafe Bustelo. It's really very good. K-cup. You find it in your local grocery, or you can, I get it on Amazon.com. Cafe Bustelo. You can see what it looks like. So when you go to Amazon, there you go. That's it. Espresso style. Super dark. It is really spectacular. You know, if you like coffee, you're going to like Cafe Bustelo. Now, the other thing I like, which I'm going to share with you, there we go, is Ahmad Tea, London. See that right there? Ahmad tea. None of the, I don't get remunerated by any of these people. I'm just snapped a picture of this. It's in a can, in a tin can. This is a London, seen in London, 500 grams of loose tea. So I have a stainless steel tea strainer, which I put, let's get back to, here's my container. So I take this lid off, and then I put the stainless steel strainer right in there. 2 scoops of this English gray aromatic loose tea in my cup, and then I put this underneath the K-cup thing, but instead of putting the Bustelo coffee canister thingy in there, I leave it empty and just have the hot water go right down on top of the tea, and I use the 14, this is a 20 ounce cup, so I fill it up to 18 ounces worth of water in there. Making plenty of room because I add cream. Yes, half and half. And that's my beverage in the morning. It takes me a while to sip on. I made it at 8 and it's 10 o'clock and I'm still not done with it. It's probably still half here. Let's sip on it in a little straw. Excuse me. Well, the big news in the morning. 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. See the time thing in the middle? Gosh, I keep on switching. Producers, come on. Put these guys next to each other. But just add. Oh gosh. And we don't want to do that. We just want to do that. There we go. My producers. Yeah. There are 3 of us here in the studio. Me, myself, and I. So, myself had to do the me thing. Anyway, so I did a little expando thing. Look, New York City, live, 6:30 a.m. And who's there? Trump. He had the caravan. He's riding around, getting ready to go over to the courthouse. So he's probably heading over to some breakfast shop somewhere. This man is everywhere. He's to the court, but on his way. I mean, the camera's falling all over the place. So he had the caravan pull over here. So he's at a construction site, downtown Manhattan, on his way to the courthouse. Live, New York City, 6:43 a.m. See, I've been here with the RSBN network. See here, 6:43 a.m. I was there watching this. Well, I was here watching there. Look at this National Rent-A-Car. National Rent-A-Fence. They get a free little advertising here. RentNational.com. There you go. Want to rent a fence. You got construction activity going on in the background. You can see Trump. He's talking to people. Talking to that guy. He is fully engaged with the public. You know, he's not only a presidential candidate, he's a past president. He was 45th president. He wants to become the 47th president also. I think maybe Buchanan was the president, skipped the term, then became president again. It looks like Trump, if he can stay out of jail, because the Democrats are trying to lock him up. Lock him up. Lock her up. Remember to lock her up? Let's lock him up. Yeah. Use the judicial system. When you weaponize the judicial system against your political opponents, that's, unsavory, I would call it. I don't think the American people are going to fall for that trick. I mean, I can see how Trump, you had the media saying, oh, there's tweets and this, that. So I can see how he lost in 2020. He lost in 2020. Close election. It was about 44,000 votes in about 5 of the swing states that made the difference between winning and losing. Well, now Mr. Biden has a record to run on. So, do you feel better about your financial situation as opposed to 4 years ago? Most people are going to say, probably not. Costs are up, eggs are up, chicken's up, gasoline is up, double, inflation is double or triple, interest rates are through the roof, costs you 7-8% to buy a car, costs you 7% or so to buy a house. Houses are, people can't, they're spoiled. They used to have, 2 and 3% interest rates, and now they're, like 7. They're double, literally double. So you can still buy a house, you just have to buy half the house you thought you were going to buy. So that's, that's not good. So Trump's walking around, and Trump's so look at all these people. These are all people with a barrier there. A whole bunch of hard hats and working folks, and you can see the construction going on. I mean, this is what Trump has done all his life. Built, built all kinds of big buildings in Manhattan. As soon as he became a candidate, everybody hates him. Everybody in the media hates him. I don't know why. He's a ratings hound. I still can't get over taking a picture of the moon with an iPhone. I mean, it's amazing. Galileo would be delighted. All the pictures of the moon. So we had there you go, moon. The moon popping up right over the apartment building right across the way from us. You can see it right there. So you got a sunset with the sun, and you get a moonrise on this side. That's there it is. That's crazy amazing. That's from an iPhone. Not a fancy dancy camera. It's a spectacular camera that can be packed inside of an iPhone. Can you imagine? It's rumored that this year's iPhone, coming out in September, usually, announced in a couple months. All the plans for the iPhone 16. I have the 15. Which is over here, with a count clock on how many minutes we've been on the air, 15 minutes and 31 seconds. 32, 33, 34. iPhone 16 is rumored to have, could be a super duper duper camera. It already has a super duper camera, but the rumor is that it may even have a more robust zooming capabilities than what we see now. That would be, with image stabilization. Oh, God. I mean, then you can really zoom in on the moon. I mean, that's really, what else? What else is a guy like, I have my brace thing here. I'm all ready for it. There you go. Slip the phone right in there. And this is the thing. I'm all set. I think I'm all set. I just have to figure out how to snap. I guess I can just push my finger on the little white doodad if I'm taking pictures or starting videos. Because with the frame, one reason why you don't want to tap a button when you're doing the iPhone is it shakes the phone. But when you have the phone in a brace like this, I can imagine my, tapping the button here, and it would not jiggle the camera. I had a little doodad, wish I could just do it here, but I think we'll keep it simple. I can just pop the phone in there and use it as a, it'd be a little awkward answering the phone call on there unless you speakerphone. But hold the thing up to your head. I don't think so. No, that's for taking pictures. And if that works out, which I think it's. I can do it right now. The notion is to use that when I'm going to photograph an event or something or other. Just pop the phone in there, and I can put a little thing on it so I can strap it right, put it over my head and strap it on. So you can have your two hands to do other things, and the bracket would just hang over to your side, and the phone would be clamped in there, so it ain't going anywhere. Kind of out of the business of going. Now I could go into the FAU stadium and so forth with that thing, and take some really spectacular videos and photos with it. And I'm kind of taking myself out of the commercial photography, for hire kind of a thing, because I'm crowding 80. Crowding 8. Oh, I'm not there. Nope. I'm not there, but I'm crowding it. So, to lug around, 6-pound camera and all that, if I can get this frame off my thing back here, I got it laying around back here, ready to spring into action with it. I can get it from there into a place where I could grab it quickly and put my phone in there. But if Meryl and I did a road trip and had breakfast or something in some new place, I would pop the phone in there in a New York minute. Carry it out of the car and walk around, take pictures with it. It would be a showstopper looking at that. Thinking about showstoppers, look at this. The U.S. This is like an oxymoron, right? The U.S. secretly shipped new long-range missiles to Ukraine. Well, it must not be a really big secret, as I'm showing you a picture of it. Come on, what kind of a secret is that? New York Times, come on. What kind of a stupid headline is that? Look at it, New York Times. See this? Oops, let me expando it. See? New York Times. nytimes.com. U.S. secretly shipped new long-range missile to Ukraine. All right. Well, the secret is out. I guess the Russians are running. This thing is blasted. They're packed inside that I was going to say shoulder mounted. No, that it's truck mounted. Some kind of a vehicle that runs. So, whoops. There's 1, 2. Let's see if we can count them. So you have little missiles and you got big missiles. So that looks like it can hold 2 big ones. Or, see here, 1, 2, 3, it's like 4, 5, 6. So this blue part looks like it holds 12. And this one holds 2 big ones. And you can bet these missiles are, they're all GPS. So they know exactly what window they're going to fly that missile into. I mean, they're very specific on the targeting. So that's at least the Ukrainians are 20 miles back from when they fire that. They know exactly where that sucker's going to go. Yes. Companies like Raytheon or whatever, I mean, these are probably, $30,000 a copy, a missile like this. I am totally pulling that out of my my back pocket because I had no clue. But it's not $188. That's got to be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a piece. So when you push the button on that one, hopefully you're taking out, $20 million facility on the other end of that missile. Like maybe they're launching that missile, at a weapons depot, where the Russians have staged a whole bunch of weapons systems. You see underneath the camouflage, they got 16,000 rifles. Oh yeah, shoot that missile at that. So that way those weapons become burned out metal. Oh, the bullets go, that would be a heck of an explosion, right? So that's what these guys do. They figure out they've got targeting, and they prioritize. How about that for a word? They prioritize their targeting so that they get the targets they want right away. Well, the U.S. is going to withdraw troops from Niger after some kind of military deal they were going to work out with the Nigerians, and it didn't happen. So U.S. says, okay, we're out of here. You're on your own, buddies. So the 724th is out of there. Look at this antenna, microwave, probably a portable cellular system right there. Look at that. I'll tell you what. The people behind the U.S. military that produce these systems for them, it's just unbelievable. Well, there's an exclusive 20% off all Burton Goods leather iPhone cases and watch bands. I mean, it makes them really nice. Look at that little leather thing, little stitching all the way around. You see the cameras. If you're gonna somehow or other differentiate your iPhone from everyone else's. I have this traditional black. If you look carefully, there is an Apple logo. You can barely see it. There it is. There you go. Camera system looks the same. This is my iPhone. Excuse me. This is my Tesla key card. Inside here is a Tesla key card. You can see that black card sitting under there. And you know what it's sitting underneath? I just flash this real quick. That is my New York State driver's license. Dated June 10th, 1968. Expires 6/30, 1971. Oh, that sucker's been out of date for a couple of years. It expired in 71. Oh, eyes are blue. Yep, there you go. It's got my birthday on there on the top. That's Jimmy's New York State driver's license. Until I was out of there. Anyway, I just put that in there just posterity. I don't know where else to put it. So I put it in my Tesla. This is the card that you use to open up the car in case, because you remember your phone is your key. Your phone is your key. Don't forget that. Your phone is your key. So, but what happens if your phone runs out of battery? What happens if someone swipes your phone? Well, then you can whip this sucker out of your pocket and operate the car and unlock the car, of course. And then when you leave, you tap the card to the column between the front and rear window. It's not complicated. And yeah, then you use the card. Marilyn has one. I have one. Actually, we have three. Marilyn has one. I have one in my back pocket. This is an extra one, which if we were to go somewhere out to dinner, making this up, and we're going to valet the car, which I'm not a real big fan of valet. I don't know. The camera's, got 1,000 miles on. It's a brand new car. Jeez. You give it to some car guy, and he parks it somewhere. And just doing any scratches and dents, and you get some, stranger in there touching things and peeking around. There's nothing in there. I mean, yeah. Don't have any valuables in the car. No weapons. No gun systems. The glove box is password protected. To open that, you need my password. My secret password. So there's no key to open up the glove box. There's no button to open up. If you want to. Matter of fact, if someone didn't know anything about the car, you wouldn't know that there was even a glove box anywhere. It's supposed to be over there near the passenger, in front of the passenger's knees. But there's no buttons or anything. How do you open up the glove box? Well, you push the button on the steering wheel and say, open the glove box, please. And then a forward, and then a pass, a thing pops up on the screen for you to enter your password. No password? The glove box doesn't open. That's all. So you got this huge screen in the front of the car, and if you say, you push the button on the steering wheel, you hold it and say, open the glove box, please. And I put in my 4-digit password. I don't know what happens if you keep trying that and it doesn't work. If it says, You've already tried this 5 times. We're not going to open a glove box. Come back in an hour. So hopefully your license and registration is there. And the policeman is standing over you saying, I want to see your registration, dummy. I can't get in my glove box. I got to wait 30 minutes. All right. Get the cuffs out. Let's take them downtown. We'll tow the car. No problem. That's not what you want to hear. All you're trying to do is go to dinner. All right. Anyway, so Burton has special sale on these iPhone cases. They're coming out with a new iPhone in September. This is May, June, July, August. 5 months. We got a new phone coming out. Is it going to be exactly the same size as our current phone? I don't know. They haven't said. If it's bigger or smaller by a little tiny bit, you may be able to use that. But you know, the buttons are going to be different. I think I heard that. Where you're not going to have real buttons. The buttons on the side are going to be capacitive buttons, almost like your touch screen in the front of your phone. So I don't know how that would work with a case. Where they just have to have a big opening on the side so you can get your finger in there and massage the buttons that aren't there, because they're not going to have buttons. So it's interesting. We haven't seen. I just read they're going to have capacitive buttons. They're not going to have buttons. It makes it easier, less expensive, less engineering regarding, waterproofing the buttons, so in case you drop your phone in the toilet, you can get it, fish it out, and, rinse it off and so forth, and not have to have water intrusion coming in through the buttons. The iPhone is rated IPX 4, 5, or 6 or something. So you can throw your phone in the shallow end of the pool and leave it down there for about 30 minutes. And you can bring it back up. And there shouldn't be any water intrusion. So that's a good thing. So most of the news that we got going on is regarding the president walking through Manhattan as he greets a bunch of New York City union workers that are working on a big building that is going up, like behind Trump. You got a whole bunch of staged equipment and on the other side of that fence. But I think the building that's going up is like from where the picture is taken. So the media is like where I am looking at this picture. So if Trump were to look up, he'd be looking at the building going up. Now he's a big time New York City developer. He's built a lot of buildings in Manhattan. See, there's the equipment, the staging equipment. It's over behind this fence. All these expando things. So they can get up there, and there's another big telescopic device. They have to go up the side of the building to make sure the windows are put in properly. It's a complicated business to build a big building downtown Manhattan. You got permits. You have to get a permit to get your permits. It's a very complicated permitting situation. Woo! So, anyway, the iPhone, iPads, everybody that's in the beta program, me, myself, and I, all three of us are on the beta update program. We got iPad updates. We got iPhone updates. Testing out iPad 17.5 Beta 3. So this is, the software that the Apple folks are almost ready to release. iPhone, iPad, iOS 18, and iPad OS 18 is likely the software that's going to be available when you get a phone in September or October of this year. iOS 18. A lot of new and different features, about that. So there seems to be some fascination with Justin Thomas. He thinks it's weird that Scotty Scheffler plays with, they have like a number on the ball, Titleist 1, 2, 3. Well, everyone's got their little quirks. Well, Scotty Scheffler, who's won 4 out of 5 major tournaments, which is like, including the Masters, which is like he's won that 2 out of 3 years. So he plays with, the Titleist golf balls. I think it's Titleist. Like 7, 8, and 9. I don't know if they have double digits, like 11, 12, 18. I think it's, you can get them 1 through 9. Well, he likes to play with the high numbered ones. I mean, the one advantage to that is, if you're looking for your ball, you're playing with Titleist number 8, for example. Or everyone else is playing with Titleist number 1s, 2s, and 3s. So he likes the high numbers. Of course, his ball is hardly ever lost because he really concentrates. You can see here, he is a very cognitive fellow. So when he's zeroing in on his next shot, you can see here Titleist. I can't tell what brand the ball is. He's got it in his finger right there. But in Golf Week section of the USA Today, they seem to be enamored with the fact that he likes the big high-numbered balls. We can do a little, because this is, look at that. Let's look it up. Let's see if we can see anything about let's search the web. Really this? Why does Scotty Scheffler use high-numbered balls? This is a story that says 3 days ago. Absolutely crazy. All right, here's the actual story. Justin Thomas thinks it's weird that Scheffler used high-numbered balls. All right, let's go to the story. There he is. Nope, same picture. Okay, 8 under 63. Over the last 3 seasons, he has the most bogey-free rounds in the history of golf. I remember when I was watching last week or the week before. He is birdie for the first 3 holes of his round. That's 5 under par in 3 holes. How do you do that? Well, you got an eagle. All right, high-numbered balls. Okay, come on. Do we have any, do we know what kind of balls they are? There he is. Can you show us one of those balls? Let's go into the web view and see if there's a ball laying around here. I'm speed reading this article. Scheffler started using balls marked numbers 5 through 8 because it's easy to identify. I've just hit the wrong ball. I don't want to hit the wrong ball. I want to hit my ball. You know, you go through the grass and you're in a little deeper grass than you normally are. And who knows, there may be another ball right next to yours. Well, which one is, you know, if you're both, you title is number 3. God darn. So he picks the higher number ones. But they didn't actually name 5 through 8 because it's easier to identify. I've just hit the wrong ball a few too many times. Scheffler recently recounted to Go Golf Cameron Jordan about one of those times he played Bo Hustler's ball in college. Oh, that's a long time ago, so don't hit the wrong ball. There you go. See, here's a little Scheffler was minus 14. He's finished 13 holes and he's 14 under. This is, you know, this is when Morikawa was, you know, chasing him in Hilton Head. Yep. Everyone agrees it's weird that this guy likes to hit those big balls, big numbered balls. Let's just do a print screen on that because that's kind of a little interesting there. It was, that weird remark was made when he was playing. Let's get rid of that black line. There we go. Save the photos. There we go. Hilton Head Island. Yep. Well, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's made $25 million. I saw that recounted somewhere. Let's see if I have I picked that out of somewhere. I'm looking for that little summary I did. Okay. Never mind. In the meantime, let's surf. Look at that, surfing in Australia with the dolphins. You know, those are not sharks underneath, they're dolphins. And they're under the wave, and the surfer is on top of the wave. There you go. I used to surf in my earlier days of life when I was like 16, 17 years old, 16, 15 years old. A few years ago. At least 60 years ago, right? Something like that. Yep. Las Vegas casinos. I don't know. I used to go to the casino and have a good time with my traveling companion, George Pahakis. George Pahakis. He was the main guy with Southern Security Life Insurance Company. And I used to advise him on his portfolio. Having a banking background of making secure investments with the bank's money. Look at that, there's a moon around, I think there's 4 or 5 of them floating around Neptune. But this moon is just breaking. This photo was taken by one of those intergalactical spaceships that NASA launched. And the moon was just coming around the edge, so you can kind of like see the moon on the edge. This is the prism camera arrangement. So the light comes in the top, and the prism is right underneath the lens opening here. It hits the prism, then the light shoots through this lens system, focuses, whatever. Then the light beam comes in the back of the prism and straight down to the imager. This flat plane is the imager. And that's how the prism lens works in an iPhone camera. And looking through these images that I took, it seems like I have another I'm looking at speed. I'm speed looking. This seems like I captured. Oh, they had more lens elements and more detail on that. Running out of real estate here. Come on, stay focused. Stay focused. There's mountains. Yep, I don't know, right? No, I didn't pick it up today. All right, well, you'll have to take my word for it. There's one thing that's for sure, that in the year 2024, cybersecurity has to be on the minds of corporate America, and the legal community, big time. You know, my daughter got a master's degree in cybersecurity in the law, and that's an exciting topic. I want her to get her law degree. She's got a couple of years to go. She's halfway there. Don't stop now, I tell Robin. Get it done. You can get your law degree when she's 50, I think, in December. So when she's 52 or 3, she'll have her law degree. That's what you want. That's okay. You got 20 years of your life to be a lawyer in Washington, D.C. Are you kidding? Or, all of a sudden she'd be making all those big bucks like the rest of them on K Street. You got a law degree, all of a sudden you're worth twice as much to the community up there in Washington. Instead of working for an attorney, you are an attorney. You pass the bar and you got to go through all that stuff. The Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence. It's a betting sequence. I'm not going to go through it because I'm not a betting man. The Fibonacci system is made up of Fibonacci numbers. Looks like this: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, 233, and 377. So this number is made up of the two numbers behind it. This number, 233, is made up of 144 plus 89. So you constantly look back. So that's what this is trying to show you here. And if you bet that way, eventually you're either gonna make money or you're gonna make back what you lost. And there's no limit on how long you can use the Fibonacci sequence when it comes to staking. And we're not talking about, a piece of meat grilled to 133 degrees, medium rare. We're talking about staking a position, like putting a stake in the ground. Yeah. Anyway, so that's, here you can see some, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, Fibonacci numbers. That's an interesting thing to read about. You can Google it. Nice thing about these photos, which you have on your screen right there, is you can just touch on the image if you have, Apple things, Fibonacci numbers, and then look up. And it'll go look it up. Search the web. There you go. There's all the there. Here's another graphic. See, images. So this gives you. So there's a pyramid of the numbers. See? 1 and 2 is 3. 3, keep on adding them across. The Fibonacci, solving the Fibonacci sequence in JavaScript, which is a programming language. The casino people don't like you to do these things. In fact, they're kind of walking around all the time, seeing if anybody is either counting the cards or counting their betting sequences. There's a sample sequence for you. Yeah. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. Keep on adding them down. That's how that works. This is comes out of the goscotland.org.uk. All right, this Fibonacci stuff is serious business. There you go. I can save that to photos. That's a very easy way to kind of like understand what's going on. There's another little platitude. A plus B. There you go. Anyway, so it's a nice way to, you can look up anything. Here's a gentleman, Charles Feeney. He died October 9th. Passed away. Nice man. He was in his 90s. And he gave 8 billion, that's with a B, billion like boy, billion, 8 billion to charity. There's a picture of who's also known as Chuck Feeney to his friends. The Atlantic Institute is deeply saddened by the death of the founder of the Atlantic Philanthropies. 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 I gotta get the accent the wrong syllable, you know. It's a lot of letters. Philanthropies. Sorry. Anybody should know that. I thought it was philanthropic. Philanthropies. Yeah, of course. 8 billion? At least you should be able to pronounce the word right. All right, took me 3 tries. I finally got it. There we go. Apple releases the third public beta of iOS 17.5. Yep, I put it on all, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I put it on 3 devices. I got 3 more devices to go, and then I got everyone covered. There's security updates and so forth. Here's the story. This is important. I mean, this is really kind of amazing when you think about it. The iPhones are so good that people are keeping them longer. In other words, so instead of trading the phones in every year, I said to Marilyn, I said, you really want to upgrade your phone this year? I mean, the phones are really working really good. But they always put a little something in there that just, being a photographer kind of a guy that I am, I've taken a few bazillion photos. When they really update the camera, it really makes me want to go for it. Marilyn's a big picture taker also. But there are some people that say the iPhones are so good and last so long that people aren't buying new ones as activations have slowed down a little bit. Amid a backdrop of turbulent smartphone sales around the globe, Apple's iPhone struggles in China. A new report has detailed the number of new phone activations across the United States and China. Doesn't make, for a good reading if you're an Apple shareholder. Well, that's, I'd be happy if I was an Apple shareholder because the iPhones are so good that their phones, they don't want to turn them in right away. You should turn them in at least every 3 years because the chemistry that's in the lithium polymer battery pack that's in the phone tends to wear out. Charge, discharge. It's good for like 500, 600 cycles. So, I mean, it's rare that you would run your phone down to 0. So let's say you run down your battery 50% every day. So if you did that 2 days, that's 1 cycle. That's what they consider 1 cycle. Now, if you discharge it all the way down, which they don't recommend that, because you could kill the battery if you run it all the way down. But if you run it all near down, like 5%, and then it charges all the way up, that's considered a cycle. Or if you use half the battery in 2 days, half one day, half the next, that would be 1 cycle used in 2 days. So if the battery chemistry is designed for about 500 cycles, that would mean like 1,000 days, right? So that's like 3 years worth. So I say in about 3 years, you should be getting a new phone just because. Now, I have the battery fail on you because then you want to plan in advance. So I'm just telling you, in about 3 years, the batteries, you're going to find that you're not going to get as much time with the battery. And you're going to have to be charging it all the time. Too many charging stops because the battery is losing its capacity. Now, car batteries, like in the Tesla, the electric battery that's in a Tesla car, they warranty those for like 8 years. And they warrant that within that 8-year period, the battery will have the capacity of at least 70% of the capacity when it was new. So if it had a 300-mile range, it would have 70% of 300 miles, or 210 miles. So a 300-mile battery would become a 200-mile battery, at the end of 8 years, which, that's still an awful lot of capacity, bigger than this huge battery that's under your feet, under the floorboard, if you will, if there is such a thing, in the car. So, you got 4 wheels on a big frame, and inside that frame is a titanium case full of batteries. About 5,000 of these little batteries, or 1,000 of the bigger batteries. So the other thing we have to watch on the news is that you've got these organized anti-Semitic rallies in front of all the premier colleges and universities across the country. And someone's financing them because they're all buying the same tents. The police should rake all them up and throw them away and say, look, get you and your tents out of here because it's a public nuisance. And, that's it. I mean, law and order. They're disturbing the peace. There used to be something on the books like that. But see, this administration, they don't care. That's freedom of speech. Well, bupkis. When you're disturbing everybody, that's not freedom of speech. That's called disturbing the peace. And that's... Anyway, so, we have this society right now where law and order isn't a big deal. Well, order is a big deal. Go back and read about what happened in 1936, 7, 8 with the rise of the Nazi Germany. Everybody looked the other way, and all of a sudden, the senior administrative officials dropped all the Nazi flags from big buildings, and you had Nazi Germany. Forget, there's no elections anymore. We're in charge. You do what we tell you, or else. And everybody just went along with it. Disgusting. They just went along with it. They were scared. They go, well, at least they're not picking on me. So everyone laid low, and that's how the Nazis took over Germany. And then they started moving all around Europe and created, basically World War II in, year 1940, which I wasn't born yet. Well, Tesla missed its second quarter targets for 2024. And of course, since it missed its targets, the stock goes 8% overnight. That makes sense, right? Yeah, of course. Anyway, we drove one of these for 3 years on a 3-year lease. You know what our service expense was? For, zero. There was no service expense. None. We had one little issue with the 12-volt battery, which operates the, the internal clock. And it runs the app. So when you dial into your car, it can see what's going on. from your iPhone. Runs the lights when you open up the door. It's not the big battery. They're talking about just a little 12-volt battery. It wore out after year 2. So I replaced it. Drove the car in. 15 minutes later, I'm out of there. They replaced the battery. I understand in the car I have now that the 12-volt system is now a lithium-ion battery. Now that is not like a lead-acid battery. It can tolerate these higher temperatures, like in South Florida, where under the hood, get up to 130, 40 degrees. Well, that won't hurt a lithium battery as much as a lead-acid battery. a lead-acid battery, are you kidding me? That's 75-year-old technology. Who the heck would think of that? So they got a 12-volt lithium-ion battery in there now. So that should probably go to full 8 years or so. Well, there's a general warranty with the Tesla for like 4 years. 4 years on basically everything. But the drivetrain, which is the electric motors and the transaxles that go across the front and rear wheels, and the battery, the big battery, the 350-volt battery, that's warranted for 8 years. The rest of the car is 4 years. So when you got a 3-year lease, everything is. I wish they had a 4-year lease. We do a 4-year lease. It would be slightly less expensive. I didn't necessarily want to turn the car in. The car I had turned was just fine. I'm not a real big fan of owning cars like this. Cars like this, because the technology is like the difference in the ride. Now that's a scientific thing, with the coefficient of, drag coefficient and, but I'm talking about the smoothness of the ride. The difference between this car and the 2021 model that we returned to Tesla is unbelievable. All they if you look at this car and you look at the one I just turned in, they're both black. I got the white interior this time instead of the black interior, and it's really the internal temperature of the car really doesn't increase as much when you have white interior as opposed to having black interior, because that sun goes through the windshield and just cooks that black material. And when you sit down, it burns your butt. No, it doesn't really, but the white interior, it doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't get hot like the black interior. And it's more attractive, it's brighter. Feels like you're getting in a little space capsule. Looks very modern, so to speak. Anyway, Marilyn likes it. I'm really delighted. It was a risky move on getting the white interior, but she said, I really like it. Black outside, white inside, has like a little tuxedo kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we love the white interior. But other than that, the car rides so much smoother. So they have done a lot of tweaking to the way in which the car rides. 0 to 60, those kinds of speeds, they're all roughly the same. Because you have basically the motors, I don't think changed too much. The battery, the chemistry, the battery technology may have changed a bit. As far as reliability. The biggest thing that we're going to see in the next year, let's say 6 months, is the full self-driving. Elon is really kicking ass with those folks to fine-tune that so that it is, they call it full self-driving. They don't call it beta anymore. They call it. They've changed the word beta to supervised. So they've taken beta off of the acronyms on the software, But they put the word supervised in there, and you basically check a statement off and say, I will supervise the car as if this full self-driving is, take command of the car in case it's going somewhere you don't want it to go. Anyway, so really, he went all over the place on the earnings call that they just had a couple nights ago on the Tesla stock. If you're an investor. So full self-driving is a big, big deal with Tesla. He has this imagination that everyone's going to want to put their car in a rental pool, and it'll make money while you're sleeping. Well, Bubkus, I don't want some guy, driving in the car while it's riding all over South Florida while I'm sleeping. And, you got all these germs. Forget that. I don't want any strangers in my car. We just put that puppy to sleep and lock him up. Now, if you had 3 cars, 2 investment cars, fleet cars, and 1 personal car. Fine, the personal car is out of the leasing fleet. The other 2 we bought as an investment, where there'd be a return on the investment. And the full self-driving, we'd put those cars, in the parking lot, and they, you call them up, like you would Uber. And all of a sudden, one of Jimmy's cars is being occupied by third parties, to be ridden to the airport or ridden to a wedding or whatever. That's what Elon thinks makes that car tick. Well, if you're an investor, that's one thing. I wouldn't want people. Now the notion is then you don't buy the car at all, and you just do the round pool all the time. Well, that's all right. You can do that. Not a bad idea. There we go. I'm trying to get that to look gray. I think the colors are a little. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's gray. This is the loose tea from Ahmad Tea Company, based in London. Ahmad. It's a great. This is the front end of a tin can that's full of, 500 grams. See right there, 500 grams. So yes. 20 ounces of, a couple of pounds of loose tea. 2 scoops in a cup. 1 scoop for the cup. 1 scoop for good luck. It's regular tea. It's not decaffeinated or anything like that. But that's the front end of the can. I took the picture just today. We can look at there. Is there a date on there? Yeah. April 25th at 9:30 in the morning. Thursday. I took that picture. And you can spot it right on a map on where I took the picture. You can zoom in a little tighter. Yeah. And there you go. Amazing as that is. Showing all photos. Yep, that's what I want to do. Really great. I promise that. And my Bustelo coffee is the coffee that I drink. There you go. There's Trump at 6:30 in the morning, talking to all the construction managers that are managing this downtown site. He pulls over tells the caravan, pull over here, I want to speak to these guys. I just want to shake their hands and a little morning photo op, so to speak. He walks around, he's got his Secret Service guys that are all, up in arms about having to get out of the car. They just want to get to the courthouse. Well, it's 6:30 in the morning, they're not getting to the courthouse. Trump has got other ideas about how he's going to spend his morning. Yeah, he gets the charge, mixing up with the folks. He's a celebrity. He's a former president. But even before he was a former president, before he was president, 14 years of, TV, a leading #1 rated, TV show that he had on NBC, The Apprentice. Made NBC a whole lot of money. It was the #1 rated TV show, prime time TV, The Apprentice. I watched an episode or two of it. Here's an inside view of a salvage vessel. And you're looking through the windshield of that vessel because they map, dive, cut, and lift. That's it. They map it, they dive, they cut it, and lift it. And that's what they're doing with pieces of that bridge, the support structure, which has crashed, because this ship that was carrying a lot of empty containers, apparently most of the containers were empty. She's going back to Singapore, and it goes back and forth between Baltimore and Baltimore's Port Covington Marina. Anyway, this guy has something to do with dealing with the salvage operations. He got up in the air, he got his radio. Amazing. Everyone's got something to do. Swire Properties is seeking $100 million for its penthouse apartment. Looks pretty unbelievable. I imagine this logo right here is the penthouse. This is probably a parapet around the top of the building to house, equipment, elevators, air conditioning stuff up on that very top level with the screening around it so you can't see it from the ground. So this is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. Who knows how many stories that is. Company is marketing the penthouse for $100 million. It could be split into 2 smaller units. It's known as the crown jewel of a 40-year-long project to develop Brickell Key. A man-made island. It's right off the coast of Miami's financial district. Yep. I've been on that island. By mistake. Took a wrong turn. Yeah, that's an exclusive. I was a banker, so I used to go in there and look at some of these properties just to see how, the construction progress is going on a variety of different buildings, 30 years ago. Because I'm that kind of guy interested in what's going on. So I'd take a look. I wouldn't just read an article. Because I worked out of Miami, so what the heck. I was in the middle of all that stuff. I didn't find it. I find it as, basically up to like 8-10 million. When I got over to Tampa, then I went up to over 100 million. Bigger job. Slightly larger bank. Went from a little trust to Southeast Bank. I was a Southeast banker for a few years. Did a lot of deals over there. I was moving and grooving in the Tampa market. Yes, sir, Bob. Well, my computer just told me it's 11:15, and since we've been on the air here for an hour and 21 minutes, I've covered all the news I wanted to cover. We've got the Supreme Court is hearing right now arguments about, how much immunity does the president get? To me, he should get quite a bit of immunity because, do you want all the future presidents of the United States to be sued criminally or, civilly for things that they did while they were in office? He orders the armed forces to go take out some bad guy, and now he runs the risk of being prosecuted by the family of the bad guy, for murdering their Uncle Louis. Yeah. Can't have that. Or else, the presidents would just be figureheads. They would never decide anything adversarial. That's what we got right now in the White House. Some guy that doesn't really do much, adversarially speaking. That's why we got wars breaking out all over the planet, because they know this guy isn't going to do anything about it. That's what Putin is figuring, I think. Not that I'm, personal friend of Putin. But, so as soon as this guy got in office, all the tanks and all the armor and everything went all around the border of Ukraine. All of a sudden, boom, he pulls the whistle and they invade. The Russians invade Ukraine. And what did our president do? Not much. Congress and everyone decided, all right, well, let's at least give Ukraine, the armaments that they need to fight the Russians. At least it's not U.S. soldiers. At least their lives aren't at risk. I mean, all the Russians and Ukrainians are doing is they're grinding through their young people. They're just getting murdered by the hundreds of thousands. And they're losing a half generation of youth on both sides. Because, how is this going to end? They're running, they're just climbing in the mud, it's just, they're grinding these lives through this war. It's terrible. I guarantee you, if Trump gets in there, that war will come to an end. Because Trump will not stand for it, and Putin knows it. And I'm sure Putin has a plan for what are we going to do if Trump gets reelected. They got to think in advance at least that far, right? So I guarantee you, everybody is figuring, what do we do if he gets reelected? Well, there's going to be different plans than if the guy who's in there gets reelected, because right now it's pretty easy to do bad things when you have the leader of the free world being somewhat docile on international matters. Yeah, what are you going to... Yeah, it's just the way it is. I can write a book, but I don't know about it. But, in the meantime, Trump is busy in lawsuits all over the place. He's being criminally indicted every way he can see, which is You know, it's election interference in the highest order. You know, so the Florida lawmakers are considering having handguns permitted in Florida university campuses. They have to be properly licensed and so forth. I am a card carrying, not that, I can show you here, somewhere in my, all this stuff. Let's do the easy one first. Maybe it's in this package. There it is. Boy, do I look terrible in this picture. Look at that. Concealed weapon firearm license. State of Florida. Yep. That took forever to get that. I put my driver's license right over top of that. Okay. Yep, that's my real estate license, meaning I know how to do my real estate. Every 2 years, you got to take a course and pass the test. All right, it's right in there in the package. Yep. So they're gonna. I don't know what their licensing rules are going to be. Well, you can't carry unless you wear a holster outside. you got the gun flashing around, which I don't think it's going to be to shoot out the OK Corral. But the Florida legislature is considering the permissibility of handguns on university campuses. Get my hand out of the way. There we go. Whoops. Go back to here. Dow plunges 650 points in early trading. Yep. The stock market is, scary. Gold. Buy gold. $2,300 an ounce. It was $1,900 an ounce not long ago. Mortgage rates are rising over 7%. These traders are beside themselves because the market is not behaving the way they expected, apparently. The Commerce Department gross domestic product report showed that the growth was much weaker than expected. The U.S. gross domestic product grew at a seasonally adjusted rate of 1.6% for the first quarter. That's a decrease from a strong growth of 4% in the second half of last year. That's quite a change. That's probably why the stock market is tipsy-whipsy, because that's a big change. Gross domestic product, we're talking about all the commerce that the United States has under its belt has dropped to seasonally adjusted. By 1/3. Woo! Hey. I'm surprised the market has only dropped 600 points. That'd be a 1,000-point jump. Who knows? By the end of the day, it might be 1,000 points. Anyway, so let's say goodnight. I don't know about you, but I think it's time for get ready for lunch. See what I can wrestle up in the refrigerator. I don't think I'm going anywhere. So listen, you all have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning. If I don't get on by 9, I'll get on by 10. Sometimes 9 is, you got somebody, my kid needs this, kid needs that, So you like to be able to service your offspring. Get the wife out the door by 7:40. And take care of things. So, figure somewhere, today I got on the air just before 10, about 9:55. So let's plan on 9:55 tomorrow. And so, that way, yickety-yackety for an hour and a half or so. Takes us up right before lunch hour. Remember, this is a simulcast. I am broadcasting on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. All three of them. This broadcast hits all three of the social networks simultaneously. Now, so far, over the last month or so, YouTube Live is the most reliable. They hang in there for the full duration. As a commercial customer of YouTube Live, YouTube Music, that's where I'm getting this Epidemic Sound instrumental, my background music, which it's nice, upbeat. When you're streaming, I'm a little bit of a technology guy, in case you haven't noticed. I'm told I'm more than just a little. I am very active. Look at this. Put together this little studio thing with my own little hands and wires, and I read everything twice. I'm not the fastest in the world, but I will figure it out. Anyway, look at this. There we go. We can page through. This is live feed from Flipboard. Geez. War breaking out. You got all these crazies, You really need to, this is in Texas. What Texas ain't messing around. These they're getting locked up. I tell you what, if they're foreign nationals that are getting locked up with these protests, deport them. You put them in the front door of the courthouse, take them out the back door, put them on an airplane, send them back to their country. Get them out of here. No, I'm not going to let you back to your apartment so you can pick up your charger for your phone. Nope. You're on an airplane. You're out of here. And you can send mail to clean up your apartment in Chicago or wherever you flew in from. These guys, this is an orchestrated thing. All over these campuses, they should arrest them all and deport them. They had visas, cancel them, and deport them. And the American citizens that get arrested with this rioting, they can deal with the judicial system in the municipality from which they got arrested. You just gotta clean this stuff up. You can't have this stuff all over the country. We'll end up, this country will disintegrate. It'll self-destruct. And see, that's what socialists, if socialists are trying to take over this country, the first thing you got to do is kill capitalism. So the first thing to do before you kill capitalism is you kill law and order. So if law and order becomes not so much order and not so much law, then the society is basically self-destructing. And that's the first step in killing capitalism. And if you kill capitalism, or have it bleeding on the sidelines, that is the entry for socialism. Take a look at Venezuela. It was a wealthy, thriving country. Now it is broke. It is broke. It is busted. There is no law and order. It's a mess. And all the bad guys from Venezuela are coming in here so they can raise havoc in our society. Well, we need to wise up, lock them up, and deport them. If we don't, it's going to be terrible. We got to hop on this and have it happen. You just have to. You got to lock up your borders and have a mass cleanup of getting rid of all these illegals that have been here. And if they really have asylum claims, they can wait out their time somewhere else, but not in the United States. Get them out of here. And with that happy note, just think about it, baby. You all have to think about it. This is serious business. Ronald Reagan and others have said, freedom is only one generation away. Our society can go away in one generation. And we're right in the middle of that pickle right now. So we need to smarten up, because if we don't, we're going to lose this country. Doesn't take long. It's Thursday. It's April 25th. And we hope you're going to have a really good day for the rest of your day. I'm getting ready to figure out what I'm going to munch on. Probably I have a little thin spaghetti. I made a bunch of nice sauce, tomato sauce. It was really good. Woo! I always get the best tomatoes, because it's just tomato sauce. After all, don't buy cheap cans of tomatoes if you're making tomato sauce. You got to buy the best tomatoes, or else the sauce is going to be not so good. All right? That's it. That's what my mother taught me a long time ago when I was 11 years old, watching her cook in the kitchen. And she cooked this tomato sauce, and I'm making it the same way. So right now it's a 130-year-old recipe. Can you imagine? I mean, it's really simple. We'll talk about that another day. And now I'm going to give you about 30 seconds of epidemic without me talking.